Welcome to Happily Divorced with Karishma. There's a version of you that wants freedom, and then there's that version of you that's holding on to the familiar, even if it's painful. That tension is what's keeping you stuck. In this episode, I'm sharing my own experience of resistance, what I uncovered when I finally stopped fighting myself, and the simple framework that helped me move from control into true alignment. Let's begin. And I've been thinking a lot about really moving from ego into living with soul, living in the space of soul where you're deeply aligned to who you really are from the inside and not the stories, the limitations, the perceptions that you've created on the outside. What I specifically want to dive into is victimhood and moving out of victim consciousness into that space of true empowerment from within. A lot of people, when they're told that they have an opportunity for change, they don't actually take it. Sometimes those things can be right in front of them, right? Like, you need to work out and you go to a trainer, you go to the gym and they're like, here's the plan, right? At my gym too, like there was this like workbook when you kind of joined the gym, they gave you, the 30-day plan for clean eating and to lose X number of pounds. And I took the workbook home, and there are times that I went through the book and make sure my macros were right and make sure my nutritional plan was on point. And there are times where that book basically just went into the pantry until the next time I was ready to pull that out and actually take a look at it. And it's not just me, it's all of us. We all say that we want that thing. We want the freedom. We want the liberation. You would not be here listening to this podcast episode if you did not want to be empowered. Even though those things are right there, sometimes we have a hard time really facing ourselves, going inward, doing the hard thing, and really going into what it is that we really want and what it looks like to really align ourselves with what we really want and to take that brave step inward so that we can really eradicate that suffering and step into that space of our most essential self, that soul. I wanted to talk about what victimhood is, and I don't think I've used the word victimhood so much specifically in this podcast. My mentor mentioned a few weeks ago that victimhood is an inability to accept what is happening, and suffering as a result of this victimhood means that we have an inability to accept ourselves as we are, to accept things as they are, or to accept people as they are. So again, the victim consciousness, the inability to accept or resistance to accepting, is what leads to suffering. And the suffering is when we resist ourselves as we are, resist others as they are, or resist life or situation as something that it is, and thinking that it should be different, it has to be different, it needs to be different than what it is. And a lot of this insinuates that we believe in something bigger than ourselves. We believe that there is a higher power, some call it God, that is in charge of our life, that is guiding us and moving us and has created the mountains and created humans and is looking out for us in a bigger way. And this victim consciousness, fundamentally, I believe, is like a part of us that protects us. And, and again, in the personal development space, we've been told that we can change things. We've been told we can manifest things. We've been told that we can change things and change people and change ourselves and change our lives. And I'm not here to be all doomsday. I do believe transformation is possible. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. But the transformation that is possible for me isn't about me changing you. It's really my changing my relationship with myself, changing my relationship with you, and changing my relationship with everything around me. Like the opposite of suffering, instead of like expecting it to change, wanting it to change, throwing a tantrum when it doesn't change, instead to really accept all of it and say, you know what, this is what it is. This is who I am. This is how you are. And this is how things are. And then on some grand scheme of things, even though I don't understand it, It's exactly how it's supposed to be. And that's the gift. That's the beauty of all this. So, just a few weeks ago, I was, experiencing just some stuff, and I was really resisting an area of my life, really resisting certain components in an area of my life. And I'm going to be just again forthright here because I want to be vulnerable. My business has actually changed a lot in the last couple of years, and I've moved into another space that I believe is more aligned to who I am, more aligned to who I want to serve, how I want to serve them, what I want to serve them on. Just like any new business, I'm kind of back in that growing stage and networking stage and building stage. I'm right here in the midst of all of it, and it's taking a minute. And ego doesn't like to be patient. Ego wants immediate gratification. Ego wants things to be different than they are. And, in the personal development space, we've been told, like, think something differently and all these things. And, if you think about it, like, thinking something different than what it is actually, the word that's used in the spiritual community is called spiritual bypass. We don't actually like sink into it. We bypass it and we go into the next thing, and we've kind of skipped the lesson of what is, and we've kind of moved into B, where we actually haven't really fully anchored in A. And I was realizing, and I think this is a protection that we all have, like sometimes when things are kind of shitty or not what we think they should be, we bypass them into should be different. It will be different. It is different. And we like tell ourselves things, and again, it's to protect us from experiencing any discomfort, right? I had an alcoholic in my household. And I can kind of look back and be like, oh my gosh, that was my denial. My denial was protecting me from seeing the person as they were. But if I'm really honest with what is, honest with what's happening, this is what's happening, period. This is who they are, period. This is the action of what it is, period. And if we really start calibrating on the actions, it really starts taking us away from that victimhood and that denial that, again, protects us in our mind. But I also believe it prevents us from moving forward. So I hear clients telling me, Karishma, like, I feel stuck. They feel stuck because they're resisting what's happening. And there's a part that wants to move forward in this one thing. But then there's also this other part that is stuck in the muck. And that's the part that we have a hard time being with. So, like, again, in the alcoholic family member example, I was protecting myself from the pain of having someone in my life that was struggling with this disease. And I was telling myself, like almost lying to myself, not with the intent to hurt myself, but with the intent to protect myself, that it should be different. And the shoulding is like really awful, right? It should be different. If we really believe in something bigger than ourselves, we believe in a God, we believe in a higher power, we believe in universal consciousness that's really looking out for everything. It's almost like in my egoic way saying it should not be this way. It should be another way. And I'm telling myself, I know more than God. I know better than God. And it should be this other way that my brain thinks it should be versus what it is. Sometimes we don't know. But even like not taking space and time to really go within and to accept what is actually creates a lot of the muck that we have, even though we don't even realize it. So again, like things were kind of coming to a head just a couple weeks ago. And I was finding myself resistant. Again, what are the symptoms? Like for me, a symptom of this muck is feeling resistant. Like, why am I being resistant to doing certain things? Why am I resistant to doing this task? And why am I resistant to showing up on these things? And like, if we're really, again, taking honest space and inventory, vulnerability isn't me being vulnerable to you. First of all, I have to be vulnerable to myself. So true vulnerability is actually, am I honest with myself? Am I willing to go deeper within myself? And then in my state of honesty and transparency within myself, now I can have the courage to be honest and transparent with you. But until I'm honest and transparent with myself, I cannot be honest and transparent with you. That's the connection. So, again, I was finding myself, the symptom was I was feeling resistant, didn't feel like showing up, didn't feel like engaging in these couple of things. And as I was looking at it, I'm like, what is the resistance? Why am I holding myself back? What is happening? What is going on inside of me? And a lot of times, like, our bodies will show up and speak these things, say these things, express these things, feel those things, right? The resistance is still a feeling. Feeling resistance means you don't feel like doing anything, feeling like you're sluggish, feeling like you're not in the mood, right? Or whatever that looks like. And after days of having that resistance and not feeling like doing the thing, it's like I had a moment of like, you know what? I'm tired of fighting me because I'm resisting me. And then as I went deeper into it, it's like, oh, I have to really be honest with what is. So I sat down one day and I did this following exercise. Number one, what am I resisting? I am resisting that, fill in the blank. I'm resisting this, that, and the other. Step one. Number two, what is this resistance costing me? Because not facing it is costing me something. It could be costing me my time. It could cost me my energy. It could be costing me resources. It could be costing me joy. It could be costing me abundance. What is this costing me? What am I resisting? I'm resisting that fill in the blank. This is what's happening, that I don't feel like showing up in this X thing. Number two, what is this costing me? Because it's costing me something. And then like step three would be like, what is the story that I'm telling myself? Because our ego is always trying to protect us and keep us in that loop, right? So in order to keep that old resistance alive, I have to tell myself a story that is untrue. So it's like, and again, the ego's job is to protect, to defend, to keep safe. But there's an old story that I'm telling myself in order to keep that situation safe, to keep that situation valid. So step three was, what is the story that I'm telling myself? And step four is, what is the truth? I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you get somebody in your life that you don't feel good about, like you resist showing up around that person. So let's pretend it's a boss. And step one could be, what am I resisting? I'm resisting how much I hate this boss, how much I hate this environment, right? Step two is, what is this costing me? So it's costing me my energy, it's costing me my time, it's costing me opportunities, it's costing me my joy, it's costing me my freedom, it's costing me stress. I hope you guys can roll with it here. Step three is, what is the story that I'm telling myself? The story that I'm telling myself is that I don't have any other choices, that if I leave this job, nothing else will be there for me. I'm always going to be stuck. This is all that I deserve, right? Like all this nonsense that we've told ourselves. And then step four is like, what is my truth? My truth is that I'm enough. My truth is that there's a million places that would be happy to hire me, a million amazing people that I could be working with, a million other opportunities that could be opening themselves up to me. And just like going through this exercise, you see, of like just really knowing, seeing, experiencing, feeling what is really happening. Step one is about vulnerability and just really going within and going, oh my God, not just am I realizing the extent of that muck, but the hard part is feeling the extent of the muck, right? So if I'm really kind of walking through steps and I'm like, oh my gosh, like the story that I'm telling myself is that I'm not enough. The story that I'm telling myself is that this is the only thing for me. The story that I'm telling myself is there's no one else going to hire me, or whatever that story might be for you. Really feeling what the sadness of it, really feeling the depth of that truth that you've told yourself that it isn't the truth, and like what you've been denying yourself. And, I had to go through this exercise for myself, with a personal matter and a professional matter. And, I had to go through with it. And it was just interesting because as I went to the truth, kind of that step 3 and 4, I started realizing those stories that I'd been telling myself, that it wasn't okay to be seen, that it wasn't okay to be valued. It wasn't okay to have the quality of life that I desired. It wasn't okay to be happy. It wasn't okay to be joyous. That, and it was all of my control. Like underneath it all, there was just this desire to control, this desire to be safe, this desire for things to be a certain way. And I noticed like when I'm in that controlling mode, there's a lack of safety that's coming up, that's making me want to be in control, that's making me want to drive the driver's seat, even though sometimes my mind will tell me I don't really want to drive the driver's seat. And then my mind just takes over because the safety is like from showing up and doing and controlling. Again, makes sense, right? If you kind of live with chaos or had years of chaos or any kind of toxicity in your life. So just, I want to take you through this exercise, because the more that we take the time to accept what is and to really give ourselves that gift of our transparency and our vulnerability, that freedom that we're seeking is actually on the other side of that vulnerability. As the tears were there and I had to kind of experience that yuck, that it's like, okay, it made me see the light at the end of the tunnel. But until I was able to walk through the muck, walk through the darkness, walk through that path, I wasn't able to see the light. And this is different than spiritual bypass, because it's not like I'm lying to myself and telling myself it's something magical, it's something beautiful, it's something amazing. I'm walking through the experience of the yuck in order to get to the other side, which is the light, which is the love, which is the abundance, which is the joy. And for me, my friends, that willingness to go there, go within, experience experiences, have the feelings, have the ugly cry, like whatever that looks like. For me, those steps have allowed the greatest amount of freedom for me personally. And I'd love for you to just reach out to me and, add in the comments below or Facebook, what happens when you are able to walk through this experience? What gifts are there for you that are showing up right now for you in real time? I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much. Subscribe, share this episode if you found it valuable, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Bye.